This is the Telescopic World Season 3 Chapter 4. In this episode, we will be further elaborating the design of a moral system constructed with the principles explained in this podcast. In the glitch panopticon, we talk about the agenda of the controllers of the panopticon. We also talk about the agenda of the cell. We use this word, agenda, to refer to a plan set out ahead of us, an overriding design for the path of our future. But what is an agenda? It is a projection into the future of the conversion of the other into the fulmination of an impulse, the expression of an instinct, of a bodily rhythm. A projection of a focused, coiled, expectation. We have all these impulses, but they all find their root within the instincts, which generate the bodily rhythms. Now, what is a coiled expectation? A coiled expectation is an expectation that produces an experience channel. An experience channel is a pathway of experience created by reactive emotionality generated in response to the coiled expectation. This tells us that it is through the bodily rhythms that one projects the future of one's action, and more precisely the projection which creates coiled expectations of the other. Thus, there are two forms of impulses. 1. That of heavy coiled expectations, projections of the bodily rhythms, projections into the future which generate integrated experience channels through the reactive emotionality they generate. The panopticon is primarily built of these heavy coiled expectations. Second, there are light, uncoiled expectations, free unentangled impulses. These expectations don't create projections which are integrated. They represent the fulmination of instinct or a bodily rhythm, without corresponding integration. Now, from this we can see that there are three ways of action. First, action with coiled expectation. Second, action with uncoiled expectation. Third, action integrated by the expression of one's impulses. Action according to coiled expectation is complex, because interwoven in the impulses generated by the bodily rhythms, are both fulfilling and obstructing impulses generated as a reaction to the coiled expectations of others. Thus, we can see that acting according to coiled expectation is a complex interplay of selection. A selection process which is complicated and requires careful attenuation of one's thoughts. Acting with uncoiled expectation is simple, because it does not generate integration of experience channels produced by reactive emotionality. Finally, action integrated by the expression of one's impulses is a mere extension of acting with coiled expectation. A positive affirmational response to all externally generated bodily rhythms entangled by one's coiled expectations. This is the panopticon. If I am to rank the three options according to their moral blameworthiness, I would say that the second method of action is the least blameworthy. There is a kind of innocence to uncoiled expectations. The most denuded is the willing acceptance of the panopticon, the affirmational response to all entangling coiled expectations. And somewhere in between is the interplay of selection. A rejection of some coiled expectations and the fulfillment of others. In other words, in recognition of the moral weightiness of our actions, in contemplation of the design which is the panopticon, the least blameworthy is the action with uncoiled expectation. But it is also the path that gives one the least insight into the power structures built into the panopticon, first. And second, it is the path that relies upon the unintegration of experience channels generated as a result of the reactive emotionality of others. It is a pathway of unattachment. But in that, there is a kind of freedom. That's the end of the podcast for today. If you enjoyed it, please like, comment and subscribe.